Alrighty, kids. We are so back. Day 3. I think we're going to switch this up. I think we're going to start with a little recap because at the end of the day, it's my channel. And Rick Rubin said the audience comes last. And seeing as we are currently performing this for an audience of no one, I call the shots. So, in typical video journal fashion, I'm going to give you a recap of what's happened in the business, where we're at right now, and then we're going to wrap it up with a little gem of what I feel like we've learned the most right now. What the biggest takeaway was, I guess you could say. So, realistically right now, what's happening is we've entered this stage of massive awareness, and we are rapidly approaching a huge business pivot. What I mean by that is when we got into this business, we had no experience in what we were doing, right? And the problem with that is that you are easily influenced by other people's opinions, and what we didn't realize is entering an avenue of business this big was that there's a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and we trusted way too many people. We built our beliefs and philosophies for our business and our business model around things that worked for some people that we didn't have much context on. And sure, we built a 7-figure business and we did a great job. We built a great product. We got great results. But we limited ourselves. We put ourselves in this very small box, and we actually steered away from the main thing that made us or makes us successful to begin with, Alex and I. It's the fact that we're creatives. It's the fact that we connect with people. It's the fact that we are people's people. Like we know what our market wants. And at the end of the day, we're not giving it to them. We were just jamming ourselves in this box. We were trying to sell this one product because it was told to us that that's the way that it had to be done. And there was so much friction towards our approach that it was just burning us the hell out, and it was not allowing the business to grow. It wasn't giving us the impact that we're really looking for. And so now, kind of taking the veil off and really looking at the business from a higher level, we've realized that we totally pigeonholed ourselves, which I think I talked about in the last video, and this is going to be a common theme. But awareness is the most important thing you could develop. And a great thing I learned recently, and no, this is not the biggest takeaway, but this is super good, is that like 98% of your time and resources when it comes to the brainstorming phase should just be figuring out what problem you actually have. Figuring out the actual problem. Solving a problem is very simple. It's finding the right mentor, it's gaining the right information, it's taking some steps. It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And most of the problem and most of the time that we have is that we're spent solving the wrong problems. We're like, if you look at a tree, we're like trying to solve why some of the leaves are brown on the outside, and we're like pruning the leaves. We're fussing over it. We think something's wrong with the branch. We think something's wrong, whatever. There's something wrong with the soil, most likely, and that's where we don't usually want to look. We don't want to dig up the tree and realize that the roots are rotten, it's planted in the wrong place, and that the thing's going to die in a few years if we don't actually uproot it and plant it somewhere else. Now, without going too far into the weeds of the business, that's kind of where we're at. We're looking at, okay, how do we actually expand this on a global level? How do we actually start attracting and building what the real dream of the business was, and start genuinely like impacting the industry on a massive level? Like, how do we get realistic about what the actual impact we can have is, and not just try and focus on selling this one product, this very one linear lane of business? And the real theme and the lesson of the day is stop looking at work and assuming a level of difficulty to it before you even try. And everyone is guilty of this. This is the main reason that when I was in different chapters of my life, I would look at people who lived a similar life to what I have now, a lifestyle where it's like you go to the gym in the middle of the day, they're working and making money from their computers, they seemingly do whatever they want whenever they want, which is not true. Obviously, we work all the time, but we do have freedom. And I was in barbershops, or I was working construction, and I thought all these people had something I didn't have. I was like, oh, they had their situation, or where they were born, or their friends, or yada, yada, yada. And it was just such a lie. It was the devil's lie that I was believing into, or your lie identity, which I could actually do a whole episode on, which is so good. But it's complete crap. And what I mean by this lesson of the day is don't look at something and assume a level of difficulty before you even try it. Is these people don't have anything that you don't. There's nothing special about them. There's nothing special about me. I was talking to a friend recently. He was like, Justin, you're living my dream life. I don't know how I'm living anyone's dream life personally, but I guess it made sense because I put myself in his shoes, and he was in a position he didn't want to be in. He was working a job he didn't like. He wanted to have creative freedom. He wanted to have freedom over his time, his finances, his schedule. He wanted to be able to move, work abroad. Well, yeah, I guess then maybe I was. But the difference is we got the same grades in school. We smoked the same weed when we were graduating. Like, we both barely made it. We both worked the same jobs. He's the same build as me. He's a better athlete than me. He was better than me at a lot of things. I'm not smarter than him. So what changed? The difference is that I looked at the challenge and I didn't assume a level of difficulty to it. I didn't assume that just because someone else was doing it, I couldn't do it. I leaned into my strengths. And again, it's something we can talk about more, but I leaned into my strengths and I just put in the work. I just got curious. I became a student of it. I studied it. And that's what we're continuing to do now. And we've had to enter another chapter of that because life is just this staircase, right? It's pain, it's complacency, it's discovery, it's leveling up, right? You gain the experience, you get to the next level, and then you're going to plateau again. It's just this constant buildup of experience. And we're definitely at another one of those now. But the best part is that the less frequently you do that, the harder it is to make it happen. Right? If you've been doing the same thing for a long time, you've been 20 years in the same job and you're married and you're rooted and you've really secured yourself, yes, it's going to be a lot harder to pivot than if you're the kind of person that is always on their toes, is taking new opportunities, is experiencing, has trust in themselves that when they go and set out to do something, they can do it. But if you've just been stuck in one place, yeah, it's just physics. The object in motion stays in motion. If you have not been in motion for a long time, it's going to be hard to get that initial push. But what I'm saying is that I think it's important that we open our eyes to the fact that no one is that much smarter than you. I've had the privilege of meeting the self-made millionaires now that I used to watch on YouTube and idolize. And I know most of my friends are influencers with over 1 million of followers. They have built these large brands. I've helped them build these large brands. There's nothing special about these guys. They're special dudes. I love them. They're great. They're very talented. But there's nothing magical about them. You don't spend time with them. You're like, oh, no wonder he did it. He's this freak wizard person. No, man. They just showed up. And they just put their energy into something else. Whereas we're putting our energy into the wrong things. Right? And to bring this back to our situation, we were putting our energy into the wrong thing. And we had to give ourselves permission to break up with it. Just like you have to give yourself permission to break up with your identity, to break up with that thing that's not working for you. You need less of the things that are holding you back. To hold space for something new, to hold space for new awareness, where we can get to this place where we can actually look at the problem from a higher vantage point and go, oh shit, that's what's wrong. That's the direction I need to go into. That's the problem I need to solve for. And once you've identified that problem, now it's just a matter of learning skills. What are the inputs I need? Or the outputs? I don't know. What's the difference? What are the steps you need to take? Do you need to find a mentor? Do you need to get into a certain room with somebody? Do you need to phone a friend? Do you need to block off some time on your weekend? Do you need to make a plan of some sort to learn that new skill? And that's exactly what we're doing now. We're making an uncomfortable pivot into a direction in the business that we know we need to go into, which just means that I'm basically back hitting the books like I talked about yesterday. Studying the game again. Back into the den, back into the classroom, which is, this little office here, which is where most of my life is spent right now. Just putting in the work, finding the mentors online, asking the questions, phoning your friends, other entrepreneurs, other people around you that might have the experience, taking the notes, studying the notes, building a real plan, holding meetings with your team, and making clear, actionable next steps. Because once you have the problem identified, it is much easier to take action on than just spinning your tires and not knowing what the hell you're supposed to do next. So Stop assuming that the challenge ahead of you is harder than it is. Stop giving it the power. Stop selling yourself short at the door. Because the beautiful thing about life right now is that we can literally see that everyone has done everything already. Most of the things, I would imagine, most of the things that someone watching this in the future, if anyone ever does, at least for myself, most of the things that I want to do, someone else has already done. Like, my life goal isn't to be the first man on Mars, right? I might be spinning my tires a little bit there. That might be a tough one to swallow, right? I can't buy an online course about how to be the first man on Mars. I don't know how to do that. No, actually nobody does. Elon's trying to figure it out. I might want to link up with him if I'm trying to make this thing happen. But he still doesn't have the answers. If I got his number right now, called me, like, brother, I can't help you out, man. I'm figuring it out. If you know anything, let me know, right? But the beauty of it is, when it comes to making money, we're in the era of abundance of information. There is no excuse. All of these people have done things. There's 19-year-olds making hundreds of millions of dollars. They've already done it. They've paved the way. Watch what they're doing, right? The path has already been cut. Don't stop yourself at the door because you think that it's going to be harder than it is. It's already hard. And I promise you, life's a lot more fun when you're just on a path that is actually rewarding for you, instead of just watching everyone go down it and bitching about the fact that you didn't get invited. So I hope that sticks out to someone. There's your daily download, and we'll be back for day 4 tomorrow. Oh, if this business doesn't kill me, we'll be laughing about this on the boat one day. I love you guys. Bless you. We'll see you on the next one.